Hello students, myself Snehal Sagre, and in today's session we will see out total quality management from the subject Industrial and Technology Management. In this we will first see the history of total quality management. Nextly we will have a glance on the concept of what is actually said to be a total quality management, and lastly we will see implementation of total quality management. At the end of the session, you will be able to describe the process of TQM, that is Total Quality Management, and also you will be able to implement the TQM process, that is Total Quality Management. Now let us see what is TQM. So as per W. Edwards Demings, Total Quality Management is a set of management practices which approaches to help companies to increase their quality and also productivity. On the other side, we can also define total quality management as a continuous effort by the management as well as the employees of a particular organization to ensure long term customer loyalty and the customer satisfaction. Now let us see the history. The history of TQM began initially as a term coined by the Naval Air Systems Command to describe its Japanese style of management, which approaches to quality improvement. As we can see out an umbrella methodology for continually improving the quality of all the processes, it draws on the knowledge of the principles and the practices of which could include firstly the behavioral sciences, the analysis of quantitative and non quantitative data, economics theories, and process analysis. Now, let us begin with the origination of TQM process. With the early 1920s, the scientific management principles came into role. Later on, in 1930s, Shewhart develops SQC methods. 1946, ASQ found out, which lead up with ASQC methods to be developed. In 1950s, TQM came along with the quality concepts development, and in 1968, quality management systems came to the formation. And lastly, we could see up the TQMS, that is Total Quality Management Standards, came into role with the total management systems. Now let us see in detail the timeline for TQM. From the early 1920s, some of the first seeds of quality management were planted as the principles of scientific management swept through US industry. Businesses clearly separated the process of planning and carrying out of the plan with the union opposition which was arose by the workers were deprived of a voice in the conditions and functions of their work. The half-tone experiments in the late 1920s show how the worker productivity could be impacted by the participation. Nextly, in 1930s, Walter Shewhart developed the methods for the statistical analysis and the control of quality management. In the early 1950s, W. Edwards Deming taught methods for statistical analysis and also control of quality to Japanese engineers as well as executives. This can be considered the origin of TQM. Next, Joseph M. Juron taught the concept of controlling quality and managerial breakthrough. Armand V. Feigenbaum's book Quality Total Control, a forerunner for the present understanding of TQM, was published up. Philip B. Grosby's promotion of zero defects paved the way for quality improvement in many companies. Later on, in 1968, the Japanese named their approach to total quality company-wide quality control. It is around this time that the term quality management system arises. Kairo Ishikawa's synthesis of the philosophy contributed to Japanese ascendancy as a quality leader. And the later, for the today's period, we could see up TQM. It is a name which is a philosophy of a board and a systematic approach to managing the organizational quality. The quality standards which we have preferred are such as ISO 9000 series and quality award programs which are focused such as Deming Prize and the Malcolm Baldrige Nationality Quality Award, which specifies the principles and the processes that comprise of TQM. TQM is nothing but a term to describe an organization's quality policy and also a procedure that has been fallen out of favor as international standards. Now let's see what are the objectives of following up with TQM. Firstly, the total customer satisfaction could be focused up. Totality of functions could be taken at a glance. Total range of products and the services could be taken for the range consideration, addressing all the aspects of dimensions of quality, also addressing the quality aspect in everything. We could see up products, services, processes, people, resources, and the interactions to be summing up with the quality aspect, satisfying all the customers. Now, on behalf of internal as well as the external problems, we could satisfy the customers, addressing the total organizational issue of the retaining customers and also improving the profit as well as generating the new business for the future, involving everything in the organization in the attainment of the said objective and also demanding the total commitment from all in the organization towards the achievement of the objective. How TQM can be processed up? Let us see. TQM can be developed using PDCA cycle, which is also known to be Deming cycle. It is nothing but a continuous quality improvement model which consists of sequence of four iterative steps for the continuous improvement that can be seen as an improvement part. So first one is plan, next is do, third is check, and last is to act out. The first step towards the TQM is planning. Nextly, we could go for acting up with it with respect to the do policy. And lastly, check out what are the details and act on with respect to customer satisfaction that could be followed up in PDCA cycle. Now we can see out how is the PDCA cycle been executed in detail. So the first is to plan. So the planning phase. In this phase, it needs to analyze and identify in short. So this is the most crucial phase of the total quality management. In this phase, employees have to come up with their problems and queries which need to be addressed out. They can come up with their various challenges which they face in their day-to-day operations and also analyze the problem's root cause. Employees are required to do necessary research and also collect the relevant data which would help them to find out solutions to all the problems. Next phase is the doing phase, that is do phase. In this doing phase, employees develop a solution for the problems or the queries which were stated or defined in planning phase. The strategies are devised and implemented to overcome the challenges faced by the employees, and the effectiveness of the solution and strategies is also measured in this stage. Next comes the check phase. Check phase, which is said to be checking phase, is the stage where people actually do a comparison analysis of before and after data to confirm the effectiveness of the processes and also measure the results. Next comes the act phase, acting phase. In this phase, employees document the results and prepare themselves to address the other problems. So we can summarize up what is PDCA with respect to their four stages. First, plan phase. Plan phase focuses on identifying problems, planning out the solution, then planning the stakeholders' engagement with respect to plan revisions done to be time to time. In do phase, we have seen implementation, nextly taking up into training consideration and a review of all the processes and collecting the data. Check process. The checking process have been seen up with verifying and validating collected data using tools and also gathering up with feedbacks. And act phase. At last, we have to analyze the data analyze not just the data but find out the root cause of the problem areas and also focus on the improved process. So in all we can say PDCA cycle engages up and focuses on customer, process and people. How to implement TQM? So implementing the TQM comes with the cycle, first starting out with the phase of commitment from employees, next quality improvement culture, continuous improvement in process, cooperation from employees, focus on customer requirement and effective control which should be laid down. So now first commitment from employees. There must be a quality improvement commitment from all the employees of the organization which could be focused here. Quality improvement is nothing but a culture which should be adopted by organization which must follow a modern quality improvement culture on constant basis. Continuous improvement in process. The continuous improvement must take place in all the policies or we can say procedures and activities which are laid down by management of the organization. Next comes up with the cooperation from the employees. The cooperation and experience of the employees must be utilized to improve the strategies and enhance the performance of the organization. Next, focus on customer improvement. We can say with respect to customer satisfaction of requirement. So, focus on customer's requirement or the satisfaction must be there for the expectations, which are very important for the long term survival of the business. And lastly, effective control must be laid down for monitoring and measuring the real performance of the business. So, this is how we can implement out TQM. As we have seen how to implement TQM, one thing we can focus up that it plays a major role of contribution of taking 6 C's into consideration for implementing the TQM. Now, what is actual this 6 C's? So, first is the commitment, which is taken up from the first process. Then comes up with the culture, followed by continuous improvement along with the cooperation, which should have a customer focus and the control on the whole process, which could have the implementation on TQM. So we can say these are all the 6 C's which play an important role to be following or implementing the TQM cycle. After the 6 C's, we could see up the implementation of TQM process in detail considering the every planning process. So first was the commitment from the employees. In an organization, the TQM policy shall be developed up. This policy shall be binding all the employees of an organization, due to which the quality improvement will become an essential part for everyone's work. Furthermore, this will ensure quality improvement commitment from all the employees for the work deployed to them. So, in short, we can say commitment from the employees have ensured a quality improvement commitment for every employee. Next was the process of quality improvement culture. There shall be a quality improvement culture in every organization. This culture should be followed with respect to modernization on the continuous basis to encourage the employees' feedback. This must ensure an employee's comfort zone, which is towards effective administration of allotted work. The quality improvement culture will lead out to effective administration of the allotted work. Next process was for the continuous improvement process. The TQM is nothing but a continuous process, which is or which can't be said to be a program. This requires a constant improvement in all the related policies and the procedure which can have a control laid down by the management. There should be a continuous search for the proficiency to do the task better. This will always result in scope for improvement, although such improvement shall be small. Next stage comes up with cooperation from the employees. The application of TQM is in direct relation with the total number of employees involved during and after the implementation of the same. The experience and the cooperation of the employees are utilized in the development of improved strategies and the performance measures. So, the cooperation from the employees could be related direct with respect to strategies and the performance measures to be taken. Next was the focus on customers' requirement. The TQM process shall be prepared by focusing on customers' requirements and their expectations from the products and the services. In today's market, customer requires and expects perfect goods and services with zero defects. Focus on customers' requirement is significant to survive in long term and to build prominent relationship with respect to customers. So the focus on customers' requirement could give up a significant response with respect to long term and building up prominent relationship with respect to customers. Next was effective control shall be laid down. The control are to be laid down from monitoring and measuring the performance of the business. The control also helps us to rectify the deficiencies, if any, in the business process. The checklist of the control policy shall be included in all the documents or the manuals of the current best business practices. At last, we can have a final glance with respect to what we have studied. So, total quality management is nothing but a strategic technique for continuous improvement in quality of products and services. TQM is nothing but an approach to achieve a long term success through customer satisfaction. And 6 C's of TQM play an important role and are required for successful implementation of total quality management.